Good morning. How are you doing? Good? Fantastic. What's my name? Kyle. Exactly. Your favorite English teacher. And like I said, good morning, because right now it's, I think, about 10:30 in the morning in Argentina. And I'm speaking to you live from Buenos Aires. If you hear some street noises, well, you probably don't hear them, because if you're watching this, there's probably a 90% chance that you're Latino, and Latinos have a superpower that they're unable to hear street noises. But in case you do hear street noises and you're wondering why, I'm recording this video right by the window which looks onto the street in my Buenos Aires studio. And in today's simple English video, I want to do a follow-up video to another video I did. Actually, I don't remember if I did it in simple English or in Spanish, but I think I may have done it in simple English. But if you want to check it out, it's right here. And in that video, I made mate for the first time. That was 2019. And now I've been drinking. It's early morning. I'm not speaking very good right now. I've been making mate and drinking mate for a few years. Not every single day, because if there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I don't like to be dependent on any type of stimulant or drug in order to survive.
Don't you know caffeine could cause serious delirium?
So I try to mix things up and not drink coffee, not drink mate every single day. But in today's video, I'm going to be making mate in my style, the style that many Argentinians have showed me how to do it. And if there's an Argentinian watching this, you can tell me if you like how I do it, if you don't like how I do it. An Argentine woman told me that I make good mate now, so I believe that's a stamp of approval, but we'll see what you say. And obviously, if you're from Uruguay or Paraguay and you also drink mate, you can tell me if how I make it is very different than how you make it. And of course, I really don't know why I'm making this video, because I have one Argentinian student in my classes. Argentinians definitely aren't my major demographic.
Es un pelotudo.
And sometimes I feel like I give them too much attention when they go and learn British English.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But who cares? For people who aren't from Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and you want to know about mate, I'll teach you a little bit in this video. And if you are from one of those countries, well, you can see how I make it. So let's get started with the process.
Let's get it started.
First thing you guys need to know about mate is you need yerba, of course. So this is a typical yerba container from this part of the world. Has a little notch here that you open up, and then from here pours the mate, the yerba mate. I'm not going to do it right now. Let me keep on going with the introduction. Then you have your cup. Now it might have a special name in Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay. I'm just going to call it in English a mate cup. So you have different kinds. This is more of a traditional yerba mate cup. This one I'm pretty sure is made from the traditional gourd, hollowed out gourd. I actually haven't used it. I don't know if I want to use it or not, because I only have enough mate to make one more mate. Yeah, sometimes it's confusing how they use mate in Argentine, Rio Platense Spanish, but I haven't used this. I think it might be kind of old. I don't know if it's safe to use, but I wanted to show you. So this is a traditional mate cup. This is another traditional style mate cup. So I believe it's either wood or gourd inside. Not too sure if you can see it or not. And then around it is some sort of metal cover. I don't know if it's aluminum. I'm guessing aluminum, just my guess. This is a mate cup that my student gave me. I did an interview with her a few weeks ago. You can watch the interview here. She gave me this as a present. I never really seen a mate cup like this, but this is a mate cup. And no, it's not for tea, not for coffee, even though you could probably use it for that. This is for mate. And then the one that I use most often is just this regular, cheap, standard mate cup. I believe, again, aluminum on the inside, hard plastic on the outside. And this is usually the cheapest mate cup that you can buy at a supermarket. And I think I'm just gonna use this to make mate today because I'm most comfortable with this. Then you got all your straws. There's many types of mate straws. I bought this one a few weeks ago. So this is one style. One of my gringo friends said that it's the best one that he's used. I've tried it out, but I don't think it's the best. It works, but I don't think it's better than the other ones. So of course, to clean it, you have to do that to get the spring unloaded, and then you can clean the straw. Because as you can see, it has little holes here, which lets in the liquid, but the spring doesn't allow the mate leaves in. Don't worry, I'll show you what the yerba mate looks like. This is a very simple mate straw. Just has like a little ball spring thing at the bottom. Actually, for me, this is very simple, but this is the one that works the best for me. I think it's cheap and not the most respected, but for me, it works the best. So this is the spring ball straw. Another common one, I don't know, I call this one the spoon style.
Everyone here wants to see my style.
Mate straw. So yeah, it just has holes on the bottom, holes on the top. You stick it in and you drink. And the last one, I haven't used this one yet. Maybe I can try it today, I'm not too sure. This is a super simple mate straw. It just has a few holes, slits, not holes, I would call these more slits at the bottom of the straw. I haven't used it because I don't think it would work very good. I imagine that the leaves easily get into the straw and then you're sucking up mate leaves in. That's not very good. And then with Argentines, you can, well, they can drink mate with herbs, with sugar, with honey. They can add whatever they want to it. I do believe there are Argentines that even drink mate with coffee. So they'll pour coffee instead of water.
You're a real caffeine junkie, aren't you?
Which seems pretty extreme. I have tried it, and that is a very powerful combination. But today, I'm gonna make simple mate. I probably will use some honey because I like mate with honey, and honey is a more natural sugar. And of course, I have my thermos. How do we say it in English? In Spanish, we termos. In English, it's gonna be thermos. Yeah, we say thermos. This is a big one. Normally, Argentines, they have a skinnier, smaller one for their mate. And you can see them carrying it around in the street with their mate cup. So let's get started making mate.
Let's get it started.
So first thing you gotta do, get your cup, get your container. Let's see if I can show it good for you guys. Pour it in. I believe the standard is you want to pour in about 3/3. So you want the cup to be 3/4 or 2/3 full. So I think I did a good job about there. When I first was making mate, I would pour it all the way to the top. But some Argentines told me that you're not supposed to pour it all the way to the top. So now I do it like this. 3/4 full, something like that. All right. Then, from what I heard from Argentines, the reason they do the next step is because it gets rid of any excess dust from the mate. So you just take your hand, cover it. Some people go all the way down like this and shake it. I've seen others go like this. I've seen others go like this. So right now, I'm doing this style, back and forth.
Everyone here wants to see my style.
And then you want to slide your hand up, make sure the mate, the yerba doesn't come out. And your goal is to try to leave half the cup empty and the other half full of mate. Obviously, when you tilt it a little bit, the yerba is going to go down. That's normal. Now the next step, and I believe not all Argentines do this, but whenever I read instructions about how to make mate, they always say to do this. So I'm going to go to the kitchen right now, and I'm just going to put in a few drops of lukewarm water into the mate. You're supposed to do this. I don't know what the reason is, but that's what I've been told. So let's go. All right, so, oh no, now it's collapsing. See, I'm not gonna do it very good when you guys are watching. All right, so you guys can't really see it. Yeah, you can't really see it, but I put some lukewarm water into the bottom of the mate. Now comes the straw. Which straw am I gonna use? I'll use this straw because I paid money for it, so I better use it. So you're gonna take your straw, put it inside. You want to kind of aim for the middle of the cup. All right. Now we got the straw inside. Oh, one thing about the straw, I learned this at a Argentine cafe in Bogota. The lady was showing me how she did it, and she gave me some good tips. Again, I don't know if you have to do this, but it's what she told me to do. So when you put in the straw, you want to cover the hole on the top when you put it in. She told me that stops the yerba from getting into the straw. I don't know if it's true or not. Doesn't seem like that's how it would work, but Argentines, they're the experts. I trust them. All right, so we got the straw inside. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to do it now or later, but I'm gonna put in a little bit of honey. Just like a drop. You don't need that much. And you don't need to put in honey. If you've never tried mate before, it's a very bitter drink, so many people like to put in some sort of sweetener to make it taste better. And you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you can. So now we pretty much have everything ready. So now I'm just gonna pour in some hot water, but it's not super hot because you don't want to burn the yerba. So I think this is about 80 degrees Celsius. I believe that's the correct temperature. So let's pour it in. I'm gonna pour it in and let the leaves soak a little bit. I'm gonna say that I've made more beautiful mate in the past, but because you're watching, some things didn't go as planned. So yeah, don't judge me too hard. Put in some more. All right, I think I'm good. Now, maybe for Argentines, Uruguayans, or Paraguayans, they could immediately drink this, but for me, I'm guessing it's a little bit hot. Let's test it out. Yeah, a little too hot for my tongue. I have a very sensitive tongue. So I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes. Then I'll give you my review of my own mate and maybe a few shots of how it looks. All right, so a few minutes have passed. Let's take a taste test. Tastes good. Well, yeah. If I had to describe the taste right now, I would say it kind of tastes like dark chocolate mixed with tobacco. That was my first impression of mate, was that it tasted like drinking cigarettes. Of course, when I say that to Argentines, they don't seem very happy with my answer, but for me, that's how it tastes. For me, one annoying thing about mate is that you only drink a few sips and then you gotta do the whole process over again. And more or less, I'm going to fill this cup probably between 5 and 8 times. And by then, There won't be any more flavor in the yerba, so you toss it out. And I only drink one of these a day. I know there are people that drink it the entire day, but I like to sleep, and mate has as much caffeine as coffee. And maybe you're asking, what's the difference in effect between mate and coffee? I would say that coffee makes me very happy, and it gives me a very big kick, but it doesn't last very long, and the crash is more intense. Whereas with mate, it gives me a smaller kick. It doesn't really change my mood in any way. It just makes me feel more alert, more awake, and it lasts longer from my experience. So that's the difference between the effects of coffee and mate. So that's that. If you're Argentine, Uruguayan, or Paraguayan, tell me what you think of my technique. Was it good? Was it bad? Any pointers? And if you're not from one of those 3 countries, have you tried mate before? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know below in the comments. And of course, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done it, and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release new videos. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, my dear student. Bye.